So, the US has did it, finally. After months long of siege of Venezuela's naval coast, US Navy and Air Force has finally conducted a large-scale military operation on Venezuela, a country situated on the north side of South American continent. Under President Donald Trump, US imposed blockade on Venezuela in 2025, specifically targeting their sanctioned oil tankers. This move was a part of broader effort to pressure Venezuela's government, led by President Nicolás Maduro, over allegations of drug trafficking and human rights abuses. Since 2025, America conducted many strikes near Latin America and the coast of Venezuela. They also seized many oil tankers of the state of Venezuela. Many political analysts have already predicted that US will attack Venezuela, but when, no one ever knew. But on 2026 January 3, things escalated. The US Army has finally attacked the mainland of Venezuela and the capital of Venezuela, the Caracas, and all in the name of America's war on drugs. Just days before attack, the President Maduro, in an interview, completely declined on the allegations of drug trafficking and he was open to talks on drug trafficking with the US. He also completely avoided the questions related to the CIA's drone attack on the Venezuela and deaths caused by it. He, in fact, accused President Donald Trump for provoking war and as a pretext to remove his government and control the Venezuela's oil reserves. But days later, the Caracas was attacked by US. Multiple airstrikes were conducted on the Venezuela's capital, and there are plenty of videos hovering over the internet claiming it to be a video from the US strikes. Just hours after the strike, the President of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, said the Venezuelan leader, Mr. Nicolas Maduro, was captured by US forces along with his wife and taken to the custody with US law enforcement. He declared this on his X account. Soon after this announcement, a picture started hovering all over the internet. It was President Nicolas with the US Army. Soon after the strikes, the Moscow's reaction came. Moscow condemns the US actions on the Venezuela and they called for a meeting in UNSC. Well, it doesn't matter what US says, that it was their action against world's largest ground reserves, which is held by the Venezuela. There is a certain region in Venezuela called Orinoco Belt, which holds the largest amount of ground oil reserves in the world, even more than the Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries. Since Venezuela was ideologically aligned with Russia and China, the Western countries and nations were banned from there to access their oil mines and reservoirs. If Venezuela falls and US gets access to Venezuelan oil, in short term, the oil prices in the global market might decrease because now the US will get the power to control the Venezuelan oil and there will be no sanctions on it. But in long term, the US dominance on oil will increase and their dependence on the Middle Eastern countries will decrease. Also, with such large reservoirs of crude oil, the US will completely manipulate the global crude oil prices. Well, this is not just about crude oil and its control, but the arrest of Nicolas and the fall of Venezuela will also bring a major shift and a turmoil in global geopolitics. With the fall of Venezuela, the Russia will lose its major strategic and military ally in South America. Russia has already invested billions of dollars in energy, arms, and other financial investments in Venezuela. If Venezuela falls, all these financial investments are likely to get cancelled. And this will be a major global humiliation for the Russians. While on the other side, there are few pros for the Russians too. Like, Russia can justify their attack on Crimea and Ukraine using the military operation conducted by US on Venezuela. On the other side, they can also influence the other countries against the US and their intentions. China may face much larger losses when compared to Russia if Venezuela falls. It will be a major economic loss for the China because the Venezuela is the largest creditor of China. On the other hand, China itself may face national security issues and accelerates its regional militarization. While on the other hand, they can also justify their actions against the Taiwan, as well as they can justify their military expansions and national unity campaigns. While US focuses on Venezuela, China gains temporary strategic space in Asia. That's what today. Thank you for watching.